What is up? So, today I'm going to be using Extraterrestrial Rio in my lead, and I kind of want to run this fun little loadout for her. And I'm going to be running the Bobcat Z2 Energy for my weapon I'm going to be using for this loadout. And these are going to be the heroes I'm running for my loadout. A bit of odd picks, I would imagine some people are thinking. But they do actually synergize very well with the loadout. I'm going to ignore the hair thing. So basically Rio is pretty straightforward. You know, your shields are 50% higher than 50%, I guess. You get 20 or 60% extra damage. We're running bioenergy source just to keep our shields up. You could argue that a team perk like totally rocking out or another team perk could be better, but I actually think bioenergy source is kinda really OP, I would say, for this loadout, because we're also running some other heroes in my loadout that of course rewards you for being at low health. We're running Chaos Agent because Bobcat, really slow reload time, so we're running Chaos Agent for that. Makes sense. We also have Frag Grenade too, so we can also use that to reset our ability. That is what Tactical Sledgehammer, by the way, looks like with those beard and glasses, if anyone was wondering. And, you know, Sledgy is pretty straightforward, you know, using SMG, debuffs as in SMG, and rifle critical damage. Pretty straightforward. This is why we're not running totally rocking out. It's because of C-Bot Jonesee, or Jonesee Bot, however you call him, and also Swamp Knight, because both of these heroes reward you for being at low health. Totally rocking out is going to heal us, which means we actually get less value out of both perks, which is why I'm focusing on running, you know, like shields, like bioenergy source, because that's going to be my way to heal. Same with Chromatic Ramirez. When you reload, you basically get 13.5% of your shield, which is pretty good because we can just chuck a frag grenade and just instantly heal back 30% of our shield because of bioenergy source, and then just 13% over time because of Chromatic Ramirez, which is pretty good. Also, if you don't 100% know how bioenergy source works, it's pretty simple. Basically, the higher that multiplier is, the more shield you'll get per energy that you lost. So basically, one energy loss is equated to 1% shield if it's at times 5. Pretty straightforward. And another weapon that actually synergizes really well with Chromatic Ramirez is the Xenon Bow. Yeah, you could say it. Oh, he's using a meta weapon. Oh, well, there's not gonna be a challenge there. But it actually works very, very well. It's an energy damage dealing weapon, so it gets buffed by Rio. I could just spam arrows into the ground to get free energy back, which is my way of, you know, surviving, you know? And it also plays around lobbers and flingers, which the Bobcat does struggle at doing because it is an SMG. It's accurate, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have damage drop off. So comboing this random weapon is actually a pretty good combo, even though it's not really getting buffed by Sledgy or Chaos Agent. It's actually getting pretty good value from all the other perks. And the mission I'm going to be doing is just to retrieve the data, powerful 160, of course, modifiers, acid pools, healing death burst, and Mel corrosion. But I'm not really playing a constructor, so Mel corrosion doesn't really do anything. It's honestly kind of a free modifier if you're just building aggressively with shrap tunnels. But other than that, those are the modifiers, so let's hop straight into the mission. Alright, so I'm starting up the defense, and I got a pretty, you know, standard sort of build that you would do when you're playing solo. Using defenders to deal with flingers, got some shrap tunnels up. I don't really like gas, honestly, nowadays. I'll be honest with you. I really thought when they were going to fix 160s, it would just go back to being a useless shrap. But it's actually kind of really good. Like, you can farm like an easy 7,000 combat, you know, per game just by literally using gas, which is kind of ridiculous. And also, speaking of ridiculous, yeah, this thing just shreds smashers. As long as you're landing some good headshots. Pretty good weapon, honestly. It also shreds down the little basic mobs too, so like the little basic husk. Like as long as you're landing headshots on them, they die like pretty much within like 1 or 2 shots, basically. And again, if you're just like basically aimbotting, you know, heads of smashers, huskies, you know, blasters, they will die very quickly with this loadout. It's also really good too for picking off weaks. Like you can see that I'm just picking off weaks from my shrapnels with no problem at all. You know, besides like a few smashers here and there. But you know, they eventually do all die. Which is good, of course. And then right here I got hit a few times from a Ride Husky, so I'm just literally spamming arrows into the ground to get all of my shield back. So, yeah. Pretty good loadout, honestly. Because even if you do have a problem, like you do lose a good amount of your shield, you can just gain it back either by using ability or just by reloading any sort of ranged weapon. And right here again, I was just able to shred this blaster and some of these huskies in my shrap tunnel very easily. Because of how much damage the weapon does generally give you with this loadout. Again, I would just like to say that this is like a surprisingly really strong loadout. Now, mind you, I'm not really still that used to the stat rework, because basically, if you don't know how the stat rework currently works, like, effectively all of these enemies have their power level, oh, well, not power level, but stats cut in half. So, as an example, Smasher used to have, like, 4.9 million health, but now I think it's somewhere around, like, 2.5 million health that they have. I might be wrong, someone might have to correct me on that one, but from what I've seen, it's around that amount of health. So, I'm just not used to, like, running weapons, you know, that are like generally this strong in solo play. But, you know, it's a nice little change. Gives me more freedom and variety to make stupid loadouts like this. And I kinda wish I tried this loadout before the update. Yeah, powerful update. That changed everything. Also, I forgot to mention this too, but the Bobcat could sometimes be an ammo eater as well. So, now mind you, I guess it doesn't really help that I give all of my light ammo to my defenders, which don't even do anything this game. Like, they don't even send any flares at all, surprisingly, even though they quite clearly have bobbers. But, you know, I guess it's whatever. You just set something up for a certain enemy type, and then they just don't send any of that, and it's all garbage, basically, because it's all pretty much wasted. But I guess it's not really that big of a deal, you know? Like, they are defenders after all. So I guess it's kind of whatever. Also right here, that's what I get for shooting in my shrap tunnel. Just a tip for new players, don't ever shoot in someone's shrap tunnel. It almost always makes it worse because of spoilers. Or because you accidentally, you know, aggro enemies and then they destroy certain things. But other than that, the boss is showing up, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not really that impressed with the boss damage that does. It's able to shred smashers pretty decently well, and any other mist monster, but I don't know, I'm just not feeling this weapon as like a boss destroyer sort of weapon, or sort of loadout, I guess. But I don't know, I guess with like a different weapon, you know, be a little bit better. Bobcat's alright, but it's definitely nowhere near like the highest DPS or, you know, damaging weapon. But yeah, I mean, I just ended up stalling out the boss. I guess to be fair, I did take out like 25% of his health within like a clip or so, which isn't too bad. So I guess you could make the argument that like, why not just put tar pits and then just, you know, unload multiple magazines on him? Which, yeah, probably, I guess, should have done that. But it's not like it really matters anyways. Like, if you focus on the boss, it ends up just making the entire mission harder anyways. So it's never really worth it. Just basically, like, fix whatever they destroy, and you're pretty much just good. That is also jump scare if I've ever seen one, you know, and this is coming from me editing this video. But yeah, good loadout. It does struggle a bit with takers, because, you know, if they do dive bomb you, you're basically guaranteed to die, unless you somehow have multiple armor perks. But yeah, I mean, first mission, not too bad. I guess mini boss destroyed some things, I guess, but if nothing leaks, you know, you can't really lose. You know, it's like one of those sort of things where, like, yeah, the game could send a million smashers, but if they don't send a single husk, you can't lose, so. Also, by the way, kinda a little annoying that I have to do this little fall damage thing to activate all my perks. So, yeah, I don't suggest ever dying with this loadout. I wouldn't suggest dying anyways, but I definitely don't suggest dying with this loadout. So, on to the second game. So, fun little fact about animals, because I accidentally tamed a raptor, and I just learned this the other day too, from a small YouTuber. Yeah, very small, I guess, even though he has like 1,000 subs, so still more than me, I guess. But fun fact about raptors is that they'll always prioritize the, I guess, the highest threatening enemy. So, like, if there's, like, a group of, like, 1 husky nurse and 5 regular husk, the raptor will always prioritize either the husky or the nurse, which is a cool little fact right there. So, with that being said, if you have a group of, like, 20 husk and, you know, 1 mini-boss, the raptor will always target the mini-boss. Fun little fact right there. I never knew that, honestly. It's funny how this game works. I always somehow find like some sort of, you know, like miscellaneous knowledge just every so often. And yet I've been playing this game since like 2018, which I'm surprised I'm still finding out new things about this game to this day, which is kind of surprising. It really does just go to show that, you know, the amount of time that you spend playing the game just doesn't matter, honestly, and it doesn't really equate to any amount of skill. Which, if you've seen some of my videos, you would probably, you know, understand that quite a lot. You could play the game since 2018 and still struggle against smashers. But I guess that's besides the point anyways. Not really much that goes on in its first few waves. Also kind of forgot to activate Swamp Knight and Jonesee Bot. Jonesee Bot? Z-Bot Jonesee? Well, whichever one he's called, forgot to activate both. But it's not like it really mattered, honestly. They kind of just didn't really spawn much at the start. And yeah, still melt smashers, melts takers. Still holding up strong, I would say, for a loadout, which is great. You know, you always do want a very good, long-lasting loadout, especially with how this game works. So that's good. I also jump off here, right here, just to lose like 5% health. Also, if you're wondering on the amount of health that you lose when you fall from certain heights, you lose around 20% health when you fall from 4 tiles high. You lose half of your health from 5 tiles high, and then you just die from 6 or more tiles high. I just thought I mentioned that too. You know, if you are running the same loadout. You know, because, you know, obviously having your perks be active is better than having them be dead. And also, another thing too, really useful to have the Xenon Bow occasionally. Really nice just picking off those random enemies in your barricades, so you don't have to do like some sort of weird maneuver where, you know, like you edit your barricades, and then it's like, you know, they're just attacking your trap because they're aggroed on you in the trap tunnel. So, kinda annoying, honestly, doing that. Also, this is how good the Loadout is against the player. Yeah, he did. I don't think that was much of a surprise, honestly. If this thing is able to shred blasters and takers and kill smashers over, you know, probably 1 or 2 seconds, it can definitely kill a flinger, especially if there's 2 standing in the same spot. So yeah, great weapon in general, honestly. Again, you know, I think this weapon with this Loadout is honestly kinda goated, honestly. Like, it's really good. Like, it's able to shred through just about anything if you're able to get up to it. And, yeah. The only downside with this Loadout, though, is, besides the, random taker dive bomb one-shotting you, is the limit for frag grenades. Because later on in this mission, I do actually kind of struggle a bit against smashers because they just send so many, and I just don't have enough abilities to really, compensate for the amount of them that there are. So, probably, I guess, altering the build with maybe, like, Clover Wildcat, I think, is her name. She's the hero that gives you, like, frag grenade charges when you get, like, X amount of kills, I think, really. That or, the one guy that gets an extra charge. Don't remember his name, which, probably not a good thing, you know. But, I feel like running one of those 2 heroes in this Loadout instead of something else would probably be more beneficial. Just not really sure, like, if I do update this Loadout, on which one it might be better to swap out. I guess, like, realistically, Chaos Agent and use a different weapon in general, so fair enough. But, I guess that really just depends, too, on what weapon you use. Or if you want to commit to the whole glass cannon setup, which, personally, you know, I think it just makes you do more creative. So I personally would keep committing to that glass cannon sort of setup, you know, low health but lots of shield sort of thing. So maybe not really glass cannon, but you know, you have low health. Yeah, probably not glass cannon, but you know, you get what I generally mean. Low health, lots of damage, but you have shield, so you can pretend it's not real health. But yeah, huge smasher wave. Still able to kill them pretty decently well. And then you notice that, yeah, you run out frag grenades and then you can't reload your gun, which kind of really sucks. Maybe I should have added some more lights. Probably. Actually, crowd control and smashers is just super good with like a loadout like this. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it just struggles when you do run out of abilities, which is the only downside. But then again, most people will be playing this co-op anyway, so to me it doesn't really matter if I make this build absolutely foolproof, perfect for solo play. Also, I would just love to appreciate the skill issue too with the smashers, where I get a single week and they destroy literally everything. But other than that, that's the build. Very fun build. Probably one of the simplest and best ways to use Rio, honestly. And yeah, with that being all said, hope you enjoyed the video, and I guess I will see you in the next one that I make. So see ya.